the subject matter of, well, it goes back many, many years. It's changed its name over the years. It's gone from, oh my goodness, Joel's Army, Latter Rain, Manifest Sons of God, up until modern day, more New Apostolic Reformation. Ron, one thing quickly I want to talk to you about and ask you about, and then we have another specific question. Postmillennialism, it fits in here. We haven't talked about it, but that kind of they got a little bit disillusioned after World War I and World War II. That kind of went away, but the whole concept of making the world perfect with postmillennialism, that it went away, whereas all these other things didn't go away.
Well, the postmillennial view, you're right. It fell from popularity due to the world wars and all of that. They did try to be biblical. They said that there was going to be a universal proclamation of the gospel, and people from all nations will come to salvation. And they talked about Jesus' parable of the mustard seed, indicated that there's going to be a continual advance of Christianity in the world. And they also claim that world conditions are improving from a moral standpoint, from a social standpoint, and from a spiritual standpoint, even despite the fact that there were world wars. So again, they attempted to be biblical, but that viewpoint fell from favor for a number of years. But the idea has become revived because it fits so well with dominionism, this kingdom now theology, which says that the church is going to prepare the way for the coming of Christ. And I must tell you, Jan, that there are dominionists who say that Christ cannot come again until the church prepares the way, thereby diminishing the omnipotence, the all-powerful nature of both Christ and God the Father. You see, so this goes back to what I said earlier. This is a man-exalting doctrine and a God-diminishing doctrine.
Good. Thank you for that clarification. And question came up as we were off air.
Well, Dr. Rhodes, we agree with you 100%. My question is, however, we don't want to leave the audience thinking that we don't believe in a supernatural God. We're not gutting the supernatural from God. We're just basically saying that the interpretations of these guys and gals are way off base. God is still supernatural. He still does miracles and that sort of thing. Can you clarify that a little?
Oh, absolutely. And I'm glad that you raised that issue because I know that all of us are supernaturalists. We believe in miracles. We believe that God is supernaturally involved in each of our lives. We know that God supernaturally answers the prayers of his people, and I've seen those kinds of miracles, including divine healings. Here's my point, though. I believe in a God of miracles who is all-powerful instead of a God who can't let Christ come again into the world until the church prepares the earth. I believe in prophets and apostles who verified the truth they spoke by performing miracles. And by the way, they spoke about God's dominion, not man's dominion. And again, I believe that God continues to exercise his supernatural prerogatives on earth. And if I didn't believe that, then I certainly couldn't make sense prophetically of the book of Revelation because we see God's supernatural interventions on almost every page of the book of Revelation. So I guess the point that I'm making is you really cannot separate God's supernatural activities from biblical prophecy. They go hand in hand.
As humans, we have trouble. We maybe have a bad habit of defending things when we shouldn't. And we might defend a teacher because we like them personally. We like them as people. They've said a lot of good things, but yet they believe the stuff we're talking about today. There are probably people right now listening going, how do I get through to my loved ones or my friends or people I know who believe in this stuff now that I understand it more from this program? Where do you start, Ron? Where do they start in trying to communicate with their friends? What's the single one thing you might say would be for them to do?
Well, I think that number one, we need to speak the truth in love. And in keeping with that, we need to make a defense to them and communicate that defense with gentleness and respect. In other words, don't come down hard on them and shove your truth down their throat. That never works. But if you show them love and respect and make the Bible the basis of your discussion, then I think that you can make some progress with them. Now, that's the fundamental issue to me. Is truth coming from the Bible, or does truth come from new revelations and from new apostles and new prophets? Once you establish the truth about that matter, I think that everything falls into place pretty quickly. But you've got to deal with that one issue of these prophets and apostles today and new revelations from God. And so that's probably where I would begin the discussion. And there's a lot of good materials that our ministry has, and I know, Jan, you probably have some stuff too, which talks about the validity of the Bible and why you can trust it.
Check out Ron's books, folks, online, his website, Ron Rhodes, RHODES, ronrhodes.org. You talk about outstanding apologetics. He's got the best.